I'd like to turn to you, Anna. If you could offer your thoughts in terms of what do we need to realize the potential here? What do we need to create such enabling frameworks? What are the complementary tools and interventions, including the role of policymakers in this mix?
Thank you for everyone for having me here and joining excellent panelists. And regarding the question, there was one key phrase mentioned at the very beginning, framework. And to create a framework, we need to create a single taxonomy where we can actually define what is what and who's doing what, and who's going to be responsible for what, when, and how. And all these technologies which we have right now, we're very lucky to have them at the moment because they enable in that process. 20 years ago, it would have been much more difficult, or actually it was impossible almost. So legitimacy, efficiency, accountability. This is the really three words I'd like you to go away after this panel discussion remembering me. A few years ago, I wrote my thesis dissertation on the United Nations Global Compact, which already was facing difficulty. How we do measure accountability, how we avoid greenwashing, blue washing, purple washing, whatsoever washing. And it's a big problem. And my thesis was, my answer to that was very high level, IoT and blockchain. And my dean, or my basically curator of the thesis said, I will lower you the mark because blockchain is not anywhere. And it's like, well, I'm developing right now the blockchain for oil and gas trade, completely transforming that. So I'm not sure, there is no research, but now people are researching to me. And my next brave step was, okay, how we can bring blockchain into water transparency, into water securities, because this is a really issue which underpins global security, global peace. And I faced then the next step of challenge, which is policy, because I never knew that water was so complicated until I touched it. Because it's all about policy, it's all about cooperation, it's all about transboundary management, it's all about society and communities first of all, and of course industry sector. So how you can bring all of those 4 or 5 different groups with an enormous level of subgroups into one room, put one agenda on the table and discuss it, and discuss the not just legal framework and talks, but actually measurable outcomes and how those measurable outcomes can be achieved. And recently I learned in Switzerland how can it be achieved, where 26 cantons, numerous communes, specifically Geneva one, which has transboundary management of Rhone River, together with France, built and resolved the issue was the decline in water table level. And they were not asking how we're going to change legitimacy. What they did, they brought together legal professionals, they brought together economists, financial people, and they brought together, of course, engineers, because this is a part of the community, and IT innovation people, set agenda, developed action plan, and then brought it to to legitimacy and to policymakers, and made it happen. So my answer to that, right now we are even more equipped with DLT, with AI, with enormous computer power which right now and they have. What we need to have, we have to have a will and responsibility and measurable performance outcomes. Without measuring, we won't be able to achieve anything. It's going to be just continuous talks and developments of the talks.